What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas, and we have a really special evening tonight. We're going to learn all about integrative medicine with somebody who has made a very big impact on a lot of people that we know and love. So in a moment, we're going to meet Dr. Tara and her friend and colleague, Dr. Lawrence Freitas. But I certainly want to invite those of us in the Zoom room, if you are interested in getting some support and you're willing to share any health issues you're facing, you'll get some wonderful suggestions from these two wonderful beings. But to get us rocking and rolling, we're going to turn it over to my co-pilot, our beloved Omashar. Hang on. Something's wrong. It's very, very fuzzy.
Distorted.
Distorted, that's the word.
We're good now?
Well, we'll see. Try playing.
Nothing in my life's the same. It seems my world is falling into the dust that gave it birth. Empty feelings find me deep in contemplation, waiting for the rise of Mother Earth. And we are we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true, and together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love one. will trust to love once more. Y sabemos a lo que vinimos, es sincero nuestro corazón. Lograremos ir a casa juntos, confiando otra vez en el amor.
Let's go to gallery view, everybody. Such a soulful song. I love that song. It's really beautiful. We can't hear you.
I upgraded my Zoom before the show and they've changed all of the audio settings. And
Oh.
I'm working it out on the fly. Yay.
Well, you're flying high as always, my friend. Thank
That's good. Yeah, thank you, brother.
And I'm sure we'll be back 2 more times with music and perhaps even with questions for our wonderful, wonderful audience, our presenters. And the first one is Dr. Tara is back, and we love Dr. Tara. Most of you know her. She's been on the show many times, including recently. But for those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube and seeing us for the first time or seeing Dr. Tara, she is the assistant professor at Weill Cornell Medicine, the medical school of Cornell University. And she's the director of the New York Presbyterian Hospital's Eating Disorders Partial Hospitalization Program. She maintains an eating disorder practice on the Upper Side of Manhattan. And she's also very involved with many of us because she created, along with our good friend Alan Steinfeld, the Consciousness Club. And the Consciousness Club is a wonderful gathering of people. So I've gotten to know her that way, as well as having her on the show where she shared her wisdom with our audience. And she said, Scott, you got to do a show with the man who changed my life. And to introduce that man and tell us a little bit about him, the star of the show tonight, here he is. Take it away, Tara.
Hi, Scott. Thank you so much for that lovely, lovely introduction. Yes, I was on faculty at Cornell's Medical School, which actually plays a key role in our story and narrative tonight, which is to say that I was there in New York about 5 years ago on faculty at Cornell. Since then, I have co-founded an AI tech company called Una, which I'll tell you all a little bit more about. But I was very, very sick physically while living in New York and working in the hospital. And I had an autoimmune disease that nobody quite knew what it was. My colleagues at Cornell couldn't help me. I had access to all of the best Western medical doctors and facilities. And I, like so many people, have a story where I was simply going year after year to get these expensive tests done and procedures done, and nobody was really getting to the root of why I was so sick. Nobody had a diagnosis, nobody had a plan. So it got to the point where I think I was maybe 35 years old, and I had all of these polyps, 38 precancerous polyps that left unchecked would have turned into cancer. And I had a session with a very good friend of ours. Her name's Kelly Fisher. She's an intuitive healer. And now she's a friend, but at the time she had no idea who I was or what my background was. But she immediately, the first thing that she said to me was, I don't mean to scare you, but I'm seeing that you're going to develop cancer unless you reach out to a naturopathic medicine doctor. And I said, thank you so much for that. It's not scary at all. I'm, in fact, fully aware that I will develop cancer if I don't get help. And so, about a week later, and I've kept meticulous records of all of this, by the way, that I shared with both Kelly and Dr. Lawrence not too long ago. I went down to a small gathering where I live, and a friend of mine was singing there, and I meet this wonderful man, Dr. Lawrence, and he tells me, there he is. He tells me that he went to Brown undergrad and that he was a naturopathic medicine doctor. And I said, you won't believe this, but I was told that I need to find a naturopathic medicine doctor. I don't even really know what that is. Um, and so while my friend was singing on the stage, I perhaps somewhat rudely was just fully focused on Dr. Lawrence and all of the wisdom that he had to share. And I thought, this man is brilliant. I've been around a lot of brilliant doctors, but nobody quite kind of gets the full picture of health like this guy. So we started working together, and I won't spoil the rest of the story, but that's that's the background of how I came in to meet Dr. Lawrence, and I'm so honored and thrilled to be speaking alongside of him tonight. And so, Dr. Lawrence, over to you for your introduction.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Dr. Lawrence Freitas. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'm also a licensed acupuncturist, so I pull in a lot of Eastern philosophies as well. I should probably, yeah, my accolades are like I went to Brown and I went to medical school. I went to UC Berkeley for public health and public policy. So that also just really influenced kind of my trajectory into this practice. So I went into medicine later in life. Um, I basically knew I was called to do this kind of work at a young age, pretty much in high school. Like I knew I wanted to be a doctor of some sort. It just was nothing was really fitting very well for me. I saw a lot of holes in kind of the medical establishment and how people were treated. I thought about massage, I thought about acupuncture, I thought about Reiki. I did do Reiki too, so I have that in my background. So I was really open to a lot of things, but nothing really pulled together for me what I think naturopathic medicine was kind of the umbrella for how I want to practice. So it really kind of helped me. And I'll tell you a little bit about my spiritual journey to this. Like I know it was called, but I had no idea about naturopathic medicine. I didn't know what it was. I had no exposure to it. I didn't, this is before integrative medicine, there was the complementary and alternative medicine. I knew a little bit about that, but I knew no one who really practiced that fully. It was just a kind of piecemealed. And so I got really sick as myself, and I was actually hospitalized. And it was probably like MRSA. It was probably a staph infection that I thought I was gonna be on my deathbed. I was in the hospital for 5 days. And it never went away. So it was like skin infections basically, and they just kept giving me antibiotics after antibiotics. I lost a lot of weight. I got really sick. And then finally, I was at home recovering, and these signs kind of came to me. So things like the billboard light was out, except for one shining on the word natural, and running into people who were talking about healers and people who are practicing medicine that was really transformative. And I was like, that's the way I want to practice. Like, what's that? Then finally, it came to a head when I told my sister, I'm like, I need to go and practice medicine. Like, I need to heal myself. I need to help people. It's kind of getting to the point where I need to figure that out. And she was like, oh, yeah, you want to be a naturopathic doctor? No problem. And I looked it up and went over the tenets of of practicing this kind of medicine, being this kind of doctor. And I was like, sign me up. I'm going. And I was 35 at that point, Tara. So, I began that journey basically. And before I went to medical school, I did go see a naturopathic doctor who basically got rid of my MRSA. So I never had problems with it ever again, helped me get my health back and stuff. So I was like, oh, sold, like no problem, hands down. So, it's not always that transformative, for everyone in the audience, like, but it can be a really powerful tool or sets of skills that we have as naturopathic doctors to help people. Yeah. So, Yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, it's an amazing one. I love that that sign, literally and figuratively, of natural, right? Like that being the only thing that lit up on the billboard, and that kind of signaling you in this direction. We get signs like that.
Right.
We really do. Mine was a little bit more literal. And you know, an intuitive, tapped in person said, "Find a naturopathic medicine doctor," because some of us we need a little bit more blunt of a message. You know, the subtle ones you know, would have gotten lost on me back then. So yeah, and it's such a blessing that you are in the position that you're in, Dr. Lawrence, and really saving lives, saving my life for sure, and helping so many people. Scott, I'll kind of defer to you on the structure here, but I'm happy to kind of go into a little bit more of my story and then pass it back over to Dr. Lawrence. Does that sound good?
Yeah, and we already have some questions that have come in. So
Great.
why don't you share a little bit more and then we'll get to some of the questions.
Wonderful. So essentially, my journey began on Valentine's Day, where I went in the morning to see Dr. Lawrence, and I said to him, I said, you know, I think that this is going to be the beginning of a very important healing relationship together. On this day, and he kind of looked at me. He was like, "Whatever, this is a weird thing to say," but essentially, that kickstarted a full diagnostic process where Dr. Lawrence was able to look at my gut microbiome, what was going on there, what was going on with my hormone fluctuations, what was going on literally in the mitochondria of my cells. He looked that closely at how my body was functioning. So what he had discovered through something called the GI map, which maps your gut microbiome, is that like Dr. Lawrence, I actually had MRSA as well in my gut. And this was not detected by any of the Western medical doctors that I had gone to. And so there was MRSA, H. pylori, a whole bunch of other harmful bacteria that essentially was creating inflammation throughout my entire body. And that inflammation, if left unchecked, would have again turned to cancer. So what he was able to do for me, which absolutely changed my life, was prescribe a set essentially of three separate tools, we'll say. One, a biofilm dissolver. So all the critters in your gut microbiome, they can lodge themselves into the lining of your gut. So you can take an antibiotic, but if those critters are lodged in that biofilm, they're not going to be touched by it. So the first thing is to break down the biofilm. The second was to give antibiotics to clear out the gut. And the third was to repopulate it. So after we had done the first GI map, we did a second GI map after the antibiotics, and we were able to see what bacteria that are considered good had been wiped out. And then he prescribed specific strains of bacteria. One that's coming to mind is Akkermansia. And it's not, this is not a good bacteria that you're going to find, for instance, in yogurt, like acidophilus. It's a specialized probiotic. And so he cherry picked the aspects that my biome needed. And after that process, all of my health conditions went away. Conditions that I had been suffering with for 20 years that prevented me from going on vacations or living a full life. I mean, I was constantly sick, constantly in pain, constantly reactive to allergens in the environment. And that process of not just talking, for instance, on Instagram about how important the gut microbiome is, like so many people do, but actually understanding how to diagnose problems within that, knowing the tools, knowing how to read the test and then prescribe, not just, you know, the things I mentioned, which were key, but also herbs and supplements, and treating me holistically as a human. I mean, I'd go in there Right. Yeah, wow, right. And so Dr. Lawrence was also giving me acupuncture and supporting me with herbal teas and supplements, giving me supplements that help the mitochondria of my cells function better. And this approach restored me to health. I really didn't think it was possible. I thought that I was just going to kind of um, have an early death, maybe contribute some things to the world, and then have to kind of move on. But being treated, being healed, being thought of as a whole person, and having all of these aspects tended to, um, it saved my life. And so in the middle of being a mom and a tech co-founder in the AI world and everything else, when this opportunity to came up to be on the show, I essentially just dropped everything because I owe Dr. Lawrence my life, and I'll do anything to support him. And so that's how we met, and we've become friends and colleagues since. And so Dr. Lawrence, over to you.
Sure. Yeah. Uh, I love my medicine. I love helping people. And that's really the thing that drives me to come every day, is that I get to see kind of the transformation that people have. It's not always like gonna be, it can be a little bit of a journey for some people. But I think you point out that, the way my brain works too is like I think about people in terms of all the facets that kind of make up this, and listening to their story, that is so important because as a doctor, you get really good insight to what's going on with a person and how they're responding. So there's this dance between me and the patient of like, give me the feedback. How did you feel? Like there's a little bit of this dance. And I think the GI tract is kind of a love for me to treat because I have my own GI issues when I had all those antibiotics and stuff like that. But it is a very huge organ system, right? So getting that, not having inflammation there, um, having a microbiome that's really robust and helpful, because over the years, basically in 2007, they started the Human Microbiome Project, which was to look at all the different types of species and the genetics of the human microbiomes. I mean, there are multiple biomes on us, in our skin, and there's pretty much not a sterile place in our body. And so people were like, well, we've always thought about bacteria being bad, right? Like bacterial infections. But no, bacteria are our friends. They are the ones that actually can help heal us, right? And that's why handpicking those probiotics can be pretty transformative, right? They actually feed some of those species like Akkermansia, specifically, they're finding out, actually feed the colon the food that it needs, short chain fatty acids. And so you can reduce inflammation because the colon is happy now. So that there's that interaction. And we still don't know a whole lot. There's still a lot more to be explored, but we have a good sense that actually the microbiome can be a source of illness if it's off, right? Like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. If you have too much of bacteria, too much of inflammatory bacteria, you can get IBS symptoms, for example. It might lead to autoimmune diseases. Like in your case, the bacteria, the aggressive species basically stimulate the immune system further and basically propagate more autoimmune disease. So we're still trying to figure out those nuances, for sure. But yeah, that's a powerful story. I would just add that the last part for you was like repair, right? Repairing and keeping the inflammation down. There's that fourth step. But I realize people may not know much about naturopathic medicine, so maybe I should go over a little bit about schooling and kind of the tenets really quick. So earlier we were talking about integrative medicine. We were talking about complementary and alternative medicine. That was an older term, and it kind of turned into integrative medicine. So integrative medicine is just pulling biomedicine, kind of your standard traditional Western medicine, like your MDs and your DOs, your allopathic doctors, pulling together that toolkit with other types of toolkits, things like functional medicine or acupuncture or Eastern herbs, herbalism, homeopathics, body work, those kind of integrating all those pieces together. So that's kind of integrative medicine. And naturopathic medicine is our basically doctors who go to medical school. So we have a very similar track to what MDs and DOs go through. The emphasis is a little different though. We do learn about we do all the basic sciences for the first 2 years, but we focus on how a healthy body should work. So we look at all the enzymes and all the vitamins and cofactors and things like that about how a healthy body should work. Whereas in MDs and DOs, and overgeneralizing here, they look at that too, but then they focus a lot on pathology. So they're really good at finding when something is really wrong for the most part. Well, not all the time, as Tara kind of pointed out. Like if it's complicated, it's hard to figure that out. And then we spent a lot of time in medical school the last 2 years in the clinical aspects, but we spend like a year and a half, almost a year and a half with nutrition. So, MDs and DOs will probably spend a week or two at most with that. We learn homeopathic medicine, we learn herbalism, we learn about pharmacology of the herbs, but also of medications. We also learn physical medicine, similar to chiropractic approaches as well, and physical medicine like other like ultrasound and maybe TENS units and things like that. And then also manipulation with massage and things like that. And then of course drugs, and then we learn about surgeries, of course, but we don't perform those. So that's and then some of us go into a residency program. I chose to get employed and I did a year and a half at a integrative pain clinic in Palm Springs. And that was great. And I met some colleagues, and that kind of led to me meeting Tara through Hillary Hamilton as well. So it's funny how our little circle kind of like got connected that way. So that's
And Dr. Hilary Hamilton, for those of you who don't know, she's Joe Dispenza's right-hand woman. So she runs the Inner Science Research Fund for Dr. Joe, and she helps to organize so many of his events. Excuse the background noise, but it was Hilary Hamilton who essentially connected Dr. Lawrence and I because they worked together for many years before Hillary was with Dr. Joe. So our healing community is so strong and growing, right? And the title of this show, right, is about miracles, and miracles come in all different forms. And certainly there are so many miracles surrounding Dr. Joe's work and Dr. Lawrence's work as well.
Mhm. Yeah, so just and I think the tenets thank you, Tara. I think the tenets of naturopathic medicine might be there's some overlap with biomedicine doctors. So, but their toolkit is different than ours. So we would prefer not to use high, toxic interventions first. We would prefer to see if we can get the body to heal itself, maybe do some lifestyle things, and if not, then maybe we have to use some herbal interventions, and we kind of go up the therapeutic scale, we call it. So you get a little bit more aggressive if the person's not responding. And then finally, surgery should be the last thing on people's mind, not the first thing, for the most part. But basically the tenets are just guides, and this is what really spoke to me to go into naturopathic medicine, is that first, do no harm. So that does overlap with allopathic medicine there too. We try not to hurt people, and that can be just not through the medicine, but also through not, maybe dismissing someone's symptoms or belittling them, things like that. Like a lot of people have experienced not feeling not heard by their doctors, and that does harm, right? That's not part of the kind of the healing relationship. And then at the core is the power, the body's the healing power of nature, basically. So that within us, within our spirit and our biology, we do have the power to heal, but also that the plant world, the world around us, could also help heal us as well. So there's a power there that we can leverage. And basically, we can maybe remove some like toxins and things like that to help the person heal, or we add some supports from the plant world, right? As well. So then also from the medical standpoint, I have to think about identifying the root cause of what's causing the person's problems. So if I can get to understanding what the root cause is, then I can do an intervention to help resolve everything that they might be experiencing. So that's an important piece too. We can't always get to the root cause. Like in Tara's situation, they weren't sure what the root cause was. I knew what the I think I knew what the root cause was, and I guess I was right. And that was the microbiome and the GI tract. So, and I was like, yeah, I think that's probably the connection that this bacteria, these inflammatory bacteria, are stimulating the antibodies for the autoimmune disease. And so, if we can get those to calm down, replace with the good guys, it can be really helpful. And then docere is the root Latin word for doctor, which means to teach. So it's really important for me and in my medicine to teach people about their bodies and what their labs mean and how that's connected to their symptoms. And then, of course, Tara said we treat the whole person. We try to see all the facets, the environmental facets, their spiritual facets, their mental, emotional facets, but also their nutrition, how are they sleeping? All those pieces are really important to understand how to treat the person and what they value too. That's a huge piece, what they care about. And then, of course, we're all about prevention. So if we can prevent disease from happening, great. Let's do those things now to prevent cancer, prevent heart disease, and things like that. So that's kind of the tenets of naturopathic medicine and how it applies. And those were, all the tools that I told you about in medical school that we learned are the tools that I use and employ. And the field is really diverse. Like people practice really differently. Some people focus on the mental health, and some people specialize only in GI or only in cancer. I don't focus that much on all those things because I think the medicine is so powerful that I can help most people for the most part. But I let people know when I'm a little bit out of my range and have a conversation with it. And most people are just like, well, you listen to me, I know you'll figure it out. So, and I kind of do.
That's exactly it, right? So a lot of people talk about lifestyle factors and understanding all of these different facets, but my experience is that Dr. Lawrence actually, actually addresses those things and knows how to do it and listens and figures it out, which is not what you get in the Western medicine world. So yeah, really, just to back up everything that he's saying, that's the approach. That's the winning approach. Hey, Scott.
Hey, no, this is wonderful. Thank you. I want to read just a couple of comments and then we've got several questions for you.
Okay.
Eleanor Joy writes, thanks to making some key changes in my nutritional patterns from about 30 years ago, I eliminated all my motion sickness and my menopause was a non-event. Several allergies disappeared from like dust, animals, pollen, etc. She says, however, I am still dealing with other issues. Having gone organic, gluten-free, and dairy-free over the years and more, I think this is what helped me get through my surgery and recovery without actually leaving the planet. But there's always lots more to learn, and this is a great discussion. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Susan Bloomquist writes, we used a naturopath in combination with an MD to heal chronic Lyme disease. It was a long journey, and we are very thankful for the naturopathic medical method and support that we received. And I know Lyme's disease is a really hard one. What's your take on it? Because there's so many different ideas about what it is and how to manage it.
Well, it is complicated and chronic, and we're talking about chronic Lyme. So like when someone gets bit by a tick and gets the bullseye rash, it's most likely they're getting exposed to the spirochete. And typically we use antibiotics or we can use herbs to kind of see if we can kill the spirochete. But it is tricky because it's so small, it can hide in other cells. So it can go into kind of a remission and then it can come out again. So the chronic Lyme is very difficult and it's controversial. Like I think in the conventional world, I'm glad that your doctor was really open to that because hearing about chronic Lyme because I think there's a suspicion that it doesn't exist. But I can tell you people do have symptoms. And so is it like a chronic after effect of the Lyme? Is the Lyme even there? There are ways to test to make sure it's gone. But the throw another wrench in it is that we know that usually people are not infected with just that spirochete, that there are other co-infections that may get missed that may be causing some of the symptoms too. So those need to be looked at as well to help the person. And most people's experiences that everyone's symptoms are really different with Lyme too. So it's like all over the place. So it's hard to diagnose and hard to kind of pinpoint which interventions are going to work the best. And killing is not always going to work because it can retreat. It can go into like similar to the biofilm idea. It can hide and retreat into tissues and get avoid the exposure to antibiotic. It can go into a cyst form and be protected that way. So it's challenging for sure. I don't treat a lot of Lyme folks, but I have some colleagues who do that as well, and they've had exposure to Lyme multiple times.
I'm going to bring up some of our Global Peace Tribers that have questions. We're going to start with Lorna Sass. And Lorna, I'm going to bring you up. And then after Lorna, we're going to go to Reverend Jeffrey and then Susan Sabbath. But Lorna, you are on camera.
Great to meet you. I'm totally with everything you say. I mean, I've chronic conditions that Western medicine doesn't have a clue about what to do with me. So gas, bloating, gut issues. I did have some Lyme bites. I live in California now, but I did have some untreated Lyme bites and have tested positive for Lyme. I consider myself a lucky Lyme because I was never grounded by it, but low energy issues and now some brain fog. And do you work over Zoom or does it, yeah?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, so I do both. I work telemedicine, so like Zoom like this for people. I don't know, like maybe 30%, 40% of my practice is like that. And then some people just choose to come see me. They want to be in person with me. I think the pro of doing in person is I can do a physical exam and kind of check things. But if not, I can just have you like, hey, tap here, show me this. There's some ways to work around that. Yeah.
I guess my question is, how would you proceed with someone like me? And I have Hashimoto's. So my sister was born celiac, my brother was autistic, so I'm sure there's a lot of genetic stuff going on as well.
Yeah, I think you've already narrowed it down for me, but usually when I do an intake, I kind of ask questions and generally like what you've been struggling with. I kind of do a head to toe assessment, meaning, the brain fog, checking respiratory symptoms, GI symptoms, skeletal systems, urinary system, making sure that if there are any symptoms to make a note of that because it might be related to something else, right? So, uh, just ruling out things and ruling things in are important. And so you mentioned Hashimoto. So Hashimoto's is that autoimmune disease where the antibodies attack the thyroid. So I always track those antibodies. It's not conventional medicine to track those antibodies, but when they're high, the thyroid's inflamed, right? In general. So there's ways to kind of treat the inflammation of the thyroid. The thyroid is kind of like a canary in the coal mine. It's very sensitive to inflammation. And so with Hashimoto's, your hormones, your thyroid hormones could fluctuate and it might be difficult to treat that. And that can contribute to the brain fog. It can contribute to weight gain and, just skin problems and as you know.
Yes,
And
unfortunately.
you did mention the GI tract. So that's important because it's such a huge organ system. Some people with Lyme exposure do have GI disruption.
Mm.
Don't know if the microbiome gets disrupted because of Lyme or if it's something that's just happening separately, but there tends to be some GI symptoms of like IBS symptoms. So those are like gas, bloating, loose stools. You can also have constipation. You can have alternating constipation, heartburn, and just like kind of joint pain can be it, and brain fog. So those are, and depression, anxiety, that comes a lot of times with that
I
as
have
well.
those too. Yeah.
I always, and if you have any GI symptoms for the most part, I always try to encourage you to do the microbiome testing, because just to see what's going on in the microbiome. So that test that Tara talked about is not just looking at flora, looking at the bacteria, but it also looks at function markers too. How much inflammation is in the gut? Is your pancreas actually working the way it's supposed to help with enzymes? Is the bile production good? Are you missing key species that would be an anti-inflammatory? Do you have too much bacteria that maybe are linked to, based off the research, to other autoimmune diseases? And then is there any kind of recycling of hormones that or toxins that might be going on from the GI tract because it can't eliminate properly? So that GI map test is my preferred test, but there's some other good microbiome tests out there as well that can look at those kind of data. And then I will also say H. pylori infection. So that's a bacteria that Helicobacter pylori lives in preferably in the stomach, but also can be in the beginning of the small intestine. And that can be really inflammatory at really high amounts. It is linked to stomach cancer and ulcers, right? I think in the 80s, the doctor who discovered the H. pylori drank a bunch of H. pylori and said, now I have an ulcer, and then they treated it with antibiotics. So I think he got a Nobel Peace Prize for that one.
That was brave.
Maybe unethical, but that's an important piece too, right? To make sure that the GI tract is completely working. You shouldn't have bloating. You shouldn't have constipation. Should have diarrhea. You shouldn't have any pain in the GI tract. So those are red flags for me that something is amiss and needs to be acknowledged. In Chinese medicine, that's the earth element. So that's your like foundation. Earth is like you build everything on your earth, and it's represented by your flesh. And so it's an important piece to kind of think about. Yes, was there something else? I forget. That would be one piece of it, and then making sure the inflammation for the thyroid, make sure your hormones are adequate. And then
I'm on the thyroid meds and I just hate being on them. They just feel like Band-Aid therapy.
yeah, that's where the antibodies are important. So anti-thyroglobulin and anti-TPO, thyroid peroxidase enzyme. There we go. I pulled it up. Those are two markers of Hashimoto's. That's how we know it. Conventional medicine doesn't do it because the treatment is the same. They don't see the utility in tracking the antibodies. I do because I know it's clinically related to the inflammation part. And there are ways to bring down those antibodies. So selenium can be added, and then myo-inositol can help bring down the inflammation. Yeah. What does that
What's
say?
that last one you mentioned? I don't know that one.
Myo-inositol is like we use it a lot for hormone regulation, but it's kind of like an amino acid that is going to be anti-inflammatory.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's in that class. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Lorna. I'm going to bring up Reverend Jeffrey, then we'll hear from Susan, and then we'll take a music break. But here is our beloved Reverend Jeffrey, who's got a question for you.
Okay.
Yes. Hello. You mentioned ultrasound. Well,
yeah, that's what that is. Yeah.
so I was listening to the conference of International Conference on Consciousness, and Stuart Hemmeroff was telling about how ultrasound is the best treatment for Alzheimer's.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he was like very negative about standard procedures for treating Alzheimer's with the drugs that he considered useless. But I guess I didn't know how to, and you can get these inexpensively at Walmart, but I didn't know exactly have a protocol or how to go about using it, either for prevention or for health or um, how could exactly. I didn't have they don't give you a method for how to use this or a protocol, and I didn't know if you knew anything about ways to use it
Oh yeah.
for your health reasons. Oh yeah, good.
Yeah. So this is the device that you have is it's not like the ultrasound we use to look at babies. This is different, but it's the same technology. So that is a ultrasound that is vibrating at very high frequency. So you can't hear it, but what it
I
does is it
some
vibrates. Well, you can hear it turn on, but it doesn't make a tone. It isn't like a dial tone or something.
It's kind of a funny sound. Okay.
Yeah, so you don't want to, okay, so one thing is you don't want it to don't turn that on when it's in the air. That's the first thing. Because that vibrating plate will like shatter. Basically, it's vibrating so fast. It needs to be pushed against a tissue or something. Yeah, and then typically we use like a gel, like kind of like aloe gel, and so it can slide. Oh, it came with it.
Come with your gel.
Yeah, so we use the ultrasound. I don't know about the Alzheimer's protocol. I'll have to look into that, but it makes sense that they might be looking into ultrasounds to break up plaques and the tangles and for Alzheimer. I wouldn't be surprised. So with that ultrasound, you put the gel on and in an area that's sore or it's inflamed. And so it's kind of like what it does, it heats the tissue underneath up. But you have to constantly move it. You can't keep it over the same area. It'll overheat that tissue. So you have to kind of slide, like say it's your forearm or I don't know, bicep, forearm, and you just kind of slide back and forth, making sure you'll make contact, turn it on, slide. Be careful over bone because if it vibrates the bone, it could, do some damage to the bone. And you don't want to bounce off the tissue either because that'll hurt the plate inside as well. But you just do it for like about 5 minutes, and you'll feel the tissue actually warm up because the vibration itself is going to be stimulating the water cells. And so it can be kind of like a heating pad effect. Um, some places that I've had it done is like over the elbow for tendonitis, right? Tennis elbow. The bottom of my bottom of the feet for plantar fasciitis. You could also just do it over sore muscles, like if you did a hike or fell down or something like that. It might feel good to do it over an area that's been hurt. I wouldn't do it over the brain because the bone is too close. It's not going to really penetrate into the head. It's not recommended. I wouldn't also do it over places like your eye that are really soft tissue, over a uterus or maybe the ovaries or bladder. So I would just do it on muscle for now. You might need to get muscle areas, tendons are okay, but not over bone. It'll hurt. It might hurt you,
They
basically.
had different sides, but they said the temple would be, I heard, might be the place for to use.
Yeah, I don't, I don't, I need to look to see what type of ultrasounds they're using because that the one that you have would only penetrate up to the bone. Like the ultrasounds may not reach the brain. So it might just be here. So there might be a special type of ultrasound that they're using that would go past the brain or the bone to get into the brain. I'm not sure. But it would, I mean, it would improve circulation into that area. Yeah, there's a temporal muscle here. It's good for tension. That would be good for a headache.
Well, wonderful. Good to know this. I'm still curious about, what Stuart Hemmeroff was talking about. He was very high about this as a treatment for Alzheimer's, and how would you do that? Because you have to go into the brain.
Yeah, that would be the question. But they are using sound and they're finding out like the healing frequencies of sound and trying to apply it to medical applications. So it's really interesting. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it's something I've been interested in. And I use sound in some of my like acupuncture using tuning forks and things like that. It can be really soothing. Yeah.
Yeah, sound is a big part. I hear a lot of people are getting deep into the sound healing. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the information.
Yeah, thank you. That was really interesting. I'll look into that.
And we'll see a lot of Jeffrey on Saturday night. He's one of our presenters, so we'll see you then, Jeffrey. All right, Susan Sabbath has a question. She can't turn on her camera, so but go ahead and unmute Susan and ask your question.
Hi, Lawrence. Thank you so much for taking my questions. I really
Yes.
appreciate it. What specific tests are you recommending for the GI? And this is in regards to digestive issues,
Oh, okay.
gas and bloating.
Oh, excuse me, the test we were talking about was called the GI map. So that's a microbiome comprehensive test, and that's from a specialty lab called Diagnostic Solutions. So because those are more new than kind of the conventional testing, lots of times insurance and doctors kind of frown upon that because it takes like 20 years for research to kind of trickle down into kind of biomedicine practice. And so this is kind of a newer way of looking at what's going on with the microbiome. And you have to be trained to analyze the data too from the test. But it's called the GI map by Diagnostic Solutions.
Okay. I have symptoms of inflammation, pain, fatigue, brain fog, and non-restorative sleep. Do you have any suggestions?
That's a tough one. Fatigue is probably one of the most difficult things to treat because there's so many things that could cause it. I mean, you nailed some of them. I always think about the fundamentals. I tell my patients the pillars of health. Basically, it's staying hydrated. You got to stay really hydrated to keep like inflammation down because it helps flush out toxins from just living. So that's one thing that you can always do. You know, making sure you get a diversity of fruits and vegetables in your diet. If you can tolerate that, you might have some trouble with it if you have GI problems. But the colors of the rainbow you want to try to incorporate into your diet because those compounds are anti-inflammatory automatically. Especially the reds and the purples and the blues. Those are really powerful, but don't discount the other colors as well.
Yeah, this I know.
Okay, good.
What can I do regarding non-restorative sleep?
Right. The sleep was my next point. Making sure, adults typically need about 7 to 9 hours. Maybe not everybody. There might be outliers for that. So when you say non-restorative sleep, is it because you're not sleeping enough or you're waking up in the middle of the night?
I don't ever feel refreshed.
Ah, okay. So,
I'm tired all the time.
okay. What time do you go to sleep?
I don't want to admit what time I go to sleep.
Let me ask you this way. How many hours of sleep are you?
7 to 8.
Okay,
7 to 8. Yeah.
All right. So waking up unrefreshed could be a number of things. It could be like a kind of a sleep disruption. There's like patterns in your sleep. So like Fitbits and Apple Watches can kind of you can look at a circadian rhythm or a 90-minute REM wake cycle. So making sure that you're actually getting into those cycles. So like there's a deep part, and that's the most restorative. And if you're having too many dreams, like too much REM, you might be having some imbalances there. So that might be one thing. Two, sleep apnea. So, or not getting enough air when you're sleeping. So if you've been told you snore, or if you kind of wake up raspy, or you find yourself like your snoring wakes you up, those might be signs that you might have.
Not to interrupt, but I had a sleep study test and I have positional sleep apnea. So
Mhm.
as long as I'm sleeping on my side, I'm okay. If I'm on my back, then it puts me into mild sleep apnea.
Yeah. So even I was gonna say even the mild. So apnea means that the airway closes up and you can't get any air, right?
Right.
Even mild amounts will cause your oxygen to drop. And so that puts a lot of stress on the heart and cardiovascular system. So it has to overwork and then try to wake you up to breathe again. But there are these things called hypnic episodes too, where you're actually getting air, and maybe this is happening on the side, but it's not moving, you're not moving enough air to keep up with the oxygen demand. And that it can be really tiring as well. So that could be a possibility. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of treatments for sleep apnea. I mean, you could play the didgeridoo 15 minutes a day. I think there's some evidence for that, playing a woodwind or like a brass instrument for 15 minutes a day too helps improve the tone of the back of the throat and tightens those tissues.
I
You know,
wanted to, not, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Um, can you recommend any supplements that help with deep restorative sleep?
um, Yeah, so okay, so if we assume it's not like a hypnic or apnea, and you're getting enough oxygen, there's ways to check that, by the way. You may want to consider so sleep hygiene, right? That is a really important piece. So making sure that you go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, that
I
your
do that.
Okay, good. And that you don't have like distractions before you go to bed as well. And keeping the room like at a cool temperature so that not too cold where it wakes you up, but keeping it cool helps the rhythm of those 90 minutes of REM wake cycles. Um, yeah, so look into that sleep hygiene kind of research information. You can just type in sleep hygiene and that'll give you some good pointers. And that's all the lifestyle things because lifestyle can really make a big dent on your sleep quality. Supplement wise, that's a little bit more challenging because some people may respond well to low doses of melatonin, for example, to help with the sleep quality. I like using a number of herbs potentially that could be helpful to improve the sleep quality and improve the stress on the heart. So things like hawthorn or melissa, valerian roots, chamomile, skullcap, catnip, holy basil, those kind of things might be really nice for the nighttime routine, especially if there's disruption in the sleep. And then the daytime would be more like adaptogenic herbs might be really helpful to kind of help with stress of
Like
the
ashwagandha.
yeah, ashwagandha is in that class, rhodiola, ginseng, Eleutherococcus, the holy basil also is in that class. Those are some really maca root would be nice as well. That might help with the kind of just reducing cortisol, so that your sleep quality might improve. One more thing, and this might be a little bit more sciencey, but making sure that your heart rate variability is good. So like heart rate variability is the fluctuation between your heartbeats. Like there should be a natural opening of space as you inhale, and then they should get closer together as you exhale. So you should have a really robust heart rate variability. And so there's like apps for that. And if your heart rate variability is low, it might be a stress on your body, and so you don't get good quality sleep. So that might be another area potentially to look at. Meditation is and
I,
exercise are the best things
I
for
do lots of that.
good, good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Much love and gratitude.
Yeah. Good luck on your journey.
Thank you.
This is wonderful. I'm really appreciating it. We're going to go to Omar in a moment for music. But since we're talking about sleep, I'm pretty lucky. I sleep well. I take my melatonin every night.
Mhm.
Is it true that is it okay to do it every night, or does the body develop a resistance to melatonin?
Um, It's not like other hormones. You don't, I mean, it's dose dependent, I would say. And I don't think there's a resistance that the body has because the negative feedback for melatonin is not an increase in melatonin, it's sunlight. So sunlight is the thing that suppresses the melatonin. Darkness is what helps secrete it, and having a nice, comfy, cool bed. And as your temperature drops after a hot shower, going to sleep, your melatonin gets secreted. Meditation can probably help with that too before bed. So taking some melatonin every night is not a problem. Some people do experience a withdrawal if they stop it, like the next night or the next couple nights, they might feel like they're more agitated or can't fall back asleep. And that's not really a true withdrawal. It's just like I think the body is just calibrating and produce back the melatonin. Yeah. And there's two forms of melatonin. There's instant release, which can help you fall asleep, and there's sustained release. And so
I've got fast dissolve.
yeah, so if you have insomnia, like problems falling asleep, that's a good one. But if you're having problems like waking up in the middle of the night, like at 3 o'clock in the morning is a typical time, you may want to use a sustained release. So it's spread out over the night. Melatonin's half-life is like an hour. So it's out of your system after 4 or 5 hours.
That's really useful information. I'm going to get sustained release because I do wake up in the middle of the night and it's hard to go back to sleep sometimes. So thank you very much.
Yeah, some people just feel really get a little bit, if they take too much, they'll feel a little bit like drowsy in the morning, not fully awake. So you have to kind of find the right dose. And then some people get headaches from it. You know, it depends on the person. So most people tolerate it just fine.
All right. Well, we will be back with Dr. Lawrence. We're going to go to his website. Dr. Tar's got some great things to share, but it's time for some music.
Scott, can I ask you what brand you're using on that melatonin or what the doctor recommends?
I did not get this through a doctor. I got this through dramazon.com.
This doctor here. But what did you say? Amazon, you said, Scott?
No, I just use Natrol is the brand that I use. But
Naturol? Okay.
Natrol, Natrol. But Dr. Lawrence, do you have a particular brand that you recommend?
For the sustained, huh?
You need to unmute, Dr. Lawrence.
I didn't realize I was still on mute. Sorry. The sustained release is not as common, but I think pure encapsulations might have like a sustained release, like a 3 mg one. Euromedica has a 10 mg one. That's the one I typically use for people because we want it spread out through the night, right? After 8 hours. That one is pretty well tolerated as well. I wouldn't go much higher than that unless there's a medical reason for getting additional melatonin. Those are the two that coming from.
So this is what showed up just now on Amazon. Were either of those
yeah, that first one. So that one I think is a 3 mg one. So you could take one or you could take two with that one.
Okay.
Now might be okay. I'm just thinking about the quality of the products. So,
yeah.
Yeah, you have to be really careful with Amazon because there's been a lot of studies on what they say they have and versus what's really in them.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's something I have to navigate with my patients quite a bit. Brands that are really good, like Integrative Therapeutics is very good. Designs for Health is very good. They test their products. Yeah.
And then you said PURE, Pure Incap?
Yeah,
Like
I'll put the link
okay.
in the box right now.
Thank you, Scott. And then you said Euromedica was another one, doctor?
Yes, and I'm not sure if that one is available online, but you might be able to find it.
Okay, thank you.
How do you spell that one, please?
Euromedica?
Yes, please.
I think it's EUROMEDICA.
Thank you. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's the name of it, but I'm tempted to go look in my medicine cabinet.
Maybe you put in the chat box. We're going to go to some music. And then we'll be back with Dr. Tara and Dr. Lawrence. But here's Dr. Omashar.
Let me shine a light inside, and I'll show you where your truth resides. And lift your eyes up to the skies, and I'll prove to you that nothing dies. Together we will rise again, and we'll make amends for what we've done. I know you hear me, so please do not fear me, 'cause I'm here to lift you, restore you to glory, and love you and hold you and be your victory. My child, I will welcome you home. Welcome you home. So let me take your hands in mine. As I look at you, your spirit shines. You see, it's true that we are one, and we came out from the central sun. I know you hear me, so please do not fear me, 'cause I'm here to lift you, restore you to glory, and love you and hold you and be your victory. My child, I will welcome you home. Welcome you home. So when you take a different view and you dream awake, breathe out the new. The world will come alive again as we dance and sing and make new friends. I know you hear me, so please do not fear me, 'cause I'm here to lift you, restore you to glory, and love you and hold you and be your victory. My child, I will welcome you home. Welcome you home. Welcome you home. So let me shine a light inside. I'll show you where your truth resides. Lift your eyes up to the skies, you that nothing dies.
Twinkle time. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all of our dancers adding to the presentation. Beloved Omar Shah, thank you. Great backdrop, as
I
always.
know. Sprinkle time, brother. I like that.
All right. Well, we're going to go back to Dr. Tara and Dr. Lawrence. And Dr. Tara put together a doc, which I'll pull up. I've got it pulled up for you, Doctor. Where are you, Tara? Where are you hiding? There
I'm
she is.
here. Hi.
So I'm going to pull up the diagnostic, and maybe you can tell people a little bit about what we're looking at.
Sure. So essentially, when we get one of these reports on our gut health, this is what it looks like. To me, this was absolutely world-changing, mind-blowing. I sent it to my Western medicine doctor. He's like, I have no idea what to make of this. And he's a very smart man, but this is the test that has all of the bad bacteria cataloged, all of the good bacteria cataloged. It shows, yep, exactly these markers here, IgA, zonulin. My zonulin was very, very high, which is an inflammation marker. And so being able to actually measure the degree of inflammation in my gut and understand why it's inflamed, that that was really mind-blowing. So I wanted to kind of show that visual, so that it's so clear that there's concrete advice, there's concrete directions that you can go. And for me personally, after 20 years of suffering with that autoimmune disease, to have that objective data was the thing that gave me hope. So I wanted to share that here, and let you know that there are all sorts of different measures like that are available in this world. And Dr. Lawrence, in terms of cost, I see some questions about cost. I'm vaguely remembering, but I think that it'd probably be better for you to answer that question.
Just so people know, like in some states like Oregon, for example, a naturopathic doctor can order it and hope if they take insurance, can bill the insurance. So some of my colleagues are able to do that. So some of that cost can be reduced. I don't think Medicare will reimburse that, but if you have another type of insurance, it might be covered. The cost out of pocket is, I think, almost $400, like 390 or something like that. With that zonulin marker. So that test that we just saw actually had antibiotic resistance analysis. So that adds another cost, I think maybe $60 or so. And then the zonulin is another $60 as well. So the zonulin I always do because I want to know if someone has a leaky gut. So if the integrity of the intestines are doing pretty well or not. And just an indirect marker of you probably have heard of leaky gut. So that just means that the cells are not watertight and they're allowing, food particles or toxins from bacteria, but potentially even bacteria into close to the immune system. And so we don't want to see that. We want to see that kind of be watertight. The cells in our intestines decide what goes into our body and what does not. So that's supposed to be intact. But you can see that, yeah, it does look at pathogens, but it's also looking at the normal flora groups and what they're, and I know what a lot of what they do, but that last second to last page was really helpful for me because then you can see like there's inflammation or you're not digesting very well. Okay, that's an easy fix. Maybe you need enzymes to help break down the food, and that's why you're feeling bloating. I will say one more thing. So, IBS. So if you've been diagnosed with IBS, there's different types. There's mixed patterns, which has alternating diarrhea with constipation. There's constipation type, which tends to be more constipated, and then diarrheal type. All of those are in the umbrella of IBS, but we know from the research that a big chunk of that is a dysbiosis or imbalances of the flora. So that can be a big cause of the IBS. It's not, it doesn't capture everything, but catch. Traditionally, if you go through a just expect you, if you should ask to do a EBO test, a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth test to rule that out. It's a little different than the GI map. I don't do that much anymore. Sometimes I'll do that to confirm.
Lawrence, I'm coming in for a moment because I think your internet has been drinking. All of a sudden, you're sounding a little bit broken up. Yeah, your internet got funky. If you can maybe either close programs or if you have
Okay.
kids watching movies on the same internet. But yeah, we want to have the complete Lawrence experience. While Lawrence figures that out, we are going to learn more about Dr. Tara because she does have a really wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us. I'm going to pronounce it correctly, as tempted as I am. It's una.io, and it's all about mental health reimagined. Please, Dr. Tara, tell us about it.
Sure. So Una is the world's, I would say best, but I'm a little biased, but the world's best AI-powered mental health coaching app. So there we are down there, me alongside my three co-founders at Una. And what we've done is we've built a very high value, low cost, scalable solution for mental health access. So essentially, if you want a therapist, right, there's such a big process that you have to go through to get one. You're in a crisis, you want help, you reach out. Maybe you look on Psychology Today to find a therapist, you email 10, maybe one gets back to you and they cost $400 an hour, this kind of a thing. And so what we've done is, we've used AI to create this tool that helps to curate essentially a therapeutic type experience for you. It's a mental health support experience that teaches you various skills that you might need to communicate interpersonally effectively, to set boundaries, to be mindful, to tolerate distress, to regulate your emotions, to help curb the oppositional behavior of your children, etc. So we've been developing this as a company for about 3 years, which is pretty early in the space. And so what we've done is we've created a digital mental health benefit. So most of our business is in the B2B space. So for instance, T-Mobile in Germany, all of the employees there use Una. Amazon employees in Maryland and much more broadly now will be using Una. The Amazon delivery drivers have Una on their phone. So for instance, instead of going to smoke a cigarette when feeling dysregulated, they're opening up Una, learning skills to regulate their emotions for the first time. And we're getting really fabulous results back. For instance, with our Amazon customers, none of them had ever been to therapy before, or really had been exposed to mindfulness in any sort of meaningful way. And now, there's this tool that's helping them to do that. And so our growth is extremely rapid at the moment. The fact that I'm here sitting with you now, with everything that we have going on behind the scenes is really a testament to how much I believe in what Dr. Lawrence is doing and can do to help all of you, and the knowledge that he shares. So it's been wonderful and amazing being at Una. And you can actually download Una in the in the App Store on iPhone and on Android. We're still available in the B2C space, the business to customer space. And if the cost is prohibitive, all you have to do is write a waiver request and we'll send it to you for free, because what we're doing here is trying to make and not trying, we're making mental health support accessible. So so if you need that cost covered, we've got you. It's really been a passion project, and it's beautiful to see the response that we're getting from the market.
Really proud of you. It's beautiful. But wait, there's more. There's another website, and I put both of these into the chat box. Stepintohigherconsciousness.com. And this is Dr. Tara's, I guess, your personal website, yeah?
That's right. So prior to being at UNA, I was kind of full blown in teacher mode. And I had developed this 3-step process that helped me to quite frankly enter into a spiritual bliss state where I did not feel tethered to any sort of egoic ideal like money or fame, power, and I was just completely in this state of blissful awareness. And I realized that, this method that I was essentially developing for myself was something that people needed to hear about. And our good friend Alan Steinfeld, who I think is on the call, kind of plucked me out of anonymity and had sensed that I had created this, and has been very, very instrumental in helping me to teach this method to a lot of people. And so that work, just a bit of background on that, comes from and is based in my work in eating disorders. So while I was on faculty at Cornell's Medical School, I was developing a treatment for eating disorders, which is a really difficult problem to address because people are willingly not eating or willingly vomiting, for instance, after eating. And curbing those types of behaviors was something that psychology at that time had a very difficult time understanding how to treat. So I created basically a 2-year-long treatment that New Harbinger published, and it's been translated into Spanish and by independent translators around the world. It's used rather widely. And so the basic principles of understanding how to move out of chasing an ideal of thinness served as the backbone for a broader understanding of how to decouple ourselves, our consciousness, from these ideals that are rooted in a fear of not being enough, not being thin enough, not being wealthy enough, not being powerful enough. And so with this meditative practice, and getting into this bliss state, I was teaching that. And then all of a sudden Una came along in the most synchronicity-esque of ways, and have been on that path since. But that work in raising consciousness and decoupling from egoic ideals, it's present before Una, it's going to exist after Una. And so I still teach in a small way those meditations, but we'll be doing much more of that, I would say, in the coming 2 years.
Beautiful. And again, I'm going to go to the website one more time because it's worth really checking out her 3-step method. And if Alan Steinfeld turns on his camera, I'll bring him on to sing your praises. And Alan's who introduced me to you, so thank you, Alan. It is stepintohigherconsciousness.com. Stepintohigherconsciousness.com. That's where the 3-step method is described, and you can find all things Dr. Tara there. Dr. Tara, I know you have, there he is. There's the man.
Hey, well, I am so proud of her. She is really a superstar. And Lawrence, you're just a medical genius. Thank you for being out there and saving our friend's life and helping all the people that you help. And that's why I love going to San Diego to see. I think I have more friends in San Diego than I do in other places. But yeah, Tara is an explorer of new realities for sure. My camera's a little foggy. But anyway, thanks for doing the show, Scott, and highlighting some really important people in the world. So,
Absolutely. And thank you. And check your text. I'm going to send you a text message about a date
okay,
now.
we're going to do a making contact, again, and maybe we'll get you on that too, Tara. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you, Alan. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Bye. See you,
Dr.
Lawrence.
Tara, I know you have a beautiful child waiting for you. So you are now officially released to going from Dr. Tara to Mom Tara, or whatever your mom name is. And we'll hang out for a few more minutes with Lawrence.
Thank you so much, Scott, for having me here. It's just an honor and a pleasure. It's just so beautiful for me as an individual to see Dr. Lawrence in action, helping so many people. There are so many kernels of wisdom that this man has and that can help so much of us, so many of us. To see it unfolding here, I've had the N of one experience where I've been the recipient, but to see it kind of writ large in this way is really something. And I think there's something here. I think that we need to do more of this,
Yeah.
that more people need to understand what naturopathic medicine is, what the power that it has being outside of the medical system, but having knowledge of the medical system where you can still prescribe if needed, but you have a whole host of tools at your disposal. The world needs this. So thank you so much, Scott, for providing this platform for us and for Dr. Lawrence to share his brilliance.
Yeah, and actually, Dr. Lawrence, I'm going to book an appointment with you because I have not been to a doctor because I kind of shun the medical system. I'm a rebellious kind of guy. But I'm going to be 70 in December, and I probably should, check things. So you're the guy. I want to work with you. So I'm going to schedule a time with you. And Dr. Tara, thank you for insisting that we do this, and it worked out brilliantly. Go forth and go, Mom.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
And Dr. Lawrence, I'm bringing up one of our most beloved global peace drivers. This is Connie Baxter Marlowe, and she's got questions or a question.
Hi, Dr. Lawrence.
Hey,
Nice
Connie.
to meet you. It has been fun listening to all your information. And yeah, it's beyond my purview. I'm not that in touch with my body. My husband is, and so he's going to be listening up so we can really grok what you have to say. But I'm having pain in my abdomen on the left side, and I've had a CAT scan and an ultrasound, and they're not showing anything. And the doctor has recommended that I have an endoscopy and a colonoscopy.
Okay.
I don't know if I should go ahead and do that, but it's intermittent and it actually creeps around my whole abdomen. Like tonight it was over on the right side, but usually it's on the left side. So anyway, just wondering what it could possibly be.
So if it's on the left, there's a couple of things, especially lower, like toward the hip, right? Getting kind of down there on the soft belly. Usually when people have pain there, it's usually diverticulosis, right? So that might, I'm not sure if that would show up on the CT, but a colonoscopy would probably show that. So those can get inflamed intermittently, and that can lead to some of that pain. On the right, well, and there's something else too. So the colon comes down and makes a sharp turn, right, to get down to the rectum. So sometimes those valves, those turns might be related to kind of the stool moving, and then those valves might be a little bit inflamed as well. So there could be some inflammation there in general. And then on the right side, lower right side, is going to be where the small intestine attaches to the large intestine. And so there's a huge U-turn that has to be made, and there's a valve there. That valve sometimes gets inflamed. There's also the appendix nearby. So sometimes people have like low grade, it's not like appendicitis, but it's like inflammation in that area because of that transition zone. So it's not unheard of. And so things that can kind of contribute to that is like constipation, not enough fiber, gas, bloating in those areas can be problematic. You may not even perceive that to be the case, um, but yeah, the colonoscopy would probably see those areas and take a look at those. You want to just rule out some of those structural problems. And if that's not the case, then it's going to be more functional, meaning that it has something to do with the digestion and the contractions, the peristalsis, right? The intestines have to squeeze to push things through. And if there's any kind of low-grade inflammation there, that can cause some pain. It could be something else nearby too. What else is there? There's the hip. There's ovaries, there's a uterus for you. Bladder is not too far away too, so there could, maybe some structures there. There's also ligaments in the back and the front, connective tissue as well, and then also lymph nodes. That's the other between and the augmentum, right between the intestines that hold it all together and attach it to the spine. There's lymph nodes there. And so if any of those are swollen, you can experience pain as well. And that would be more of a sign of maybe the bacteria or some kind of low-grade infection potentially. Hard to say. Yeah.
Aren't any other symptoms of constipation or gas or bloating, or there's no
Mhm.
other?
Yeah, so you just want to make sure that there's nothing structurally wrong with the intestines and the valves, first of all. And then if that's not the case, then make sure there's no low-grade inflammation that would cause pain. Um, and then work from there. Those would be the first places to
How
think
do you
about.
know about low-grade inflammation? How do you
Um, they can see that on the colonoscopy potentially.
seen anything on either the colonoscopy? Oh no, the colonoscopy, yeah, because I had a CAT scan and a ultrasound. So
Yeah,
you and the colonoscopy and the endoscopy then.
yeah. It is one of our best ways to actually see what's going on, at least from the inside. I'm wondering if there's actually something else going on, like on the musculature or something like that that could be causing that. But the colonoscopy is the best way to make sure that the tissue's okay and healthy.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to have that advice because I didn't know if I should go ahead with it or not.
Yeah, then they should talk to you about the risks and the benefits for sure. There's not usually complications from colonoscopies, but there is a small chance and small risk of they overinflate the intestine to look at it. So that's probably the biggest risk that most people have. And then also the clean out process is also not pleasant.
No, I know. I've had several before and haven't had any
Mhm.
patients.
Tony, what about the endoscopy?
What about the endoscopy?
So the endoscopy is usually the upper GI tract.
They want that too.
They want that too. That's
But
strange. When
should I,
is there no upper GI problems?
not,
I mean, like heartburn or,
no, nothing. So
huh? I'm not sure. They may want to take a look at the small intestine. They can get into like about a foot of the small intestine to see what's going on with the tissue there. But that's like higher up. That's like the above the belly button. So I'm not sure what they're hoping to find or what they're going to be looking at, especially because most of your symptoms are lower. They uh like celiac disease, inflammatory bowel diseases, those need to be ruled out. I'm sure they've done that, but I always say that, but then sometimes they don't. So
yeah, I don't know if they have or not.
yeah.
So
So it's all about the workup and asking your symptoms. I'm not sure what they're looking for up on the upper endoscope. But you're gonna be sedated, and so they'll probably each of those takes only like 5 minutes or so. So if that's what they are recommending, they must be thinking about something.
uh-huh. And what did you say that should be ruled out that they probably did, but I don't know if they did or not.
Oh, just you make sure that there's no like celiac disease, there's no inflammatory bowel disease. It's not likely what's going to be the cause because it usually would be more like the whole abdomen might be more inflamed and you would notice foods aggravating these areas more and things like that. So they just need to rule out those kind of diseases. Um,
Okay, well, thank you very much.
yeah. Well, good luck. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Dr. Lawrence, thank you so much. And while you were working with Connie, I have scheduled an appointment with you for
Oh,
Halloween Day, Friday the 31st at 2:45 p.m. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I haven't had a checkup in a long time. So
so
thank
probably don't have any labs or imaging that you need to have me review beforehand or
yeah, I decided to get a little bit of blood work done, so I'll send that your way.
yeah, send it to me and then I can take a look ahead of time and then we'll go over from head to toe.
Cool. I look forward to it. Well, I want to let people know how, and people, oh, Carol's asking, do you see people online?
hmm Yeah, so a portion of my practice is virtual. So we do it like this, where my charting system will send you a link on Zoom, and then we have my intake is 90 minutes. So we're really going in depth about what's kind of ailing you. So it's over video, yeah.
And that's what I'll be doing. I'll be doing that on Zoom with you.
Mhm.
I am putting your into the chat box one more time, third time, and then we're going to go take a look at it for all
Uh-huh.
those watching online. Here is his website, and it's his name, Dr. Lawrence, Laurence, Freitas, Freitas.com. Just do what I did, click make an appointment, and you can get going with this amazing doctor.
Oh,
Doc-
thank you.
oh, thank you. I first of all, thank you for helping my friends, helping Connie and all the different people that you've helped. Thank you for educating us. Is there any last words of wisdom?
So a couple things. Somebody in the chat room was asking if there's spiritual causes for physical illnesses, and I think so too. I think I didn't finish my tenets, but mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness can impact someone's quality of life for sure. And so I think some of those kind of practices around spirituality, meditation, maybe some spiritual practices can be really transformative for some people. So I think that's an important piece. Um, and then people were in the chat too mentioning that after 2 a.m. wake up. So I didn't finish explaining that maybe that could also be a spike in cortisol. So that's more of an adrenal issue. There's a couple causes for that as well. So that's really common, especially as we get older. There's some dysregulation with the blood sugar and then the um, cortisol like adrenaline spikes in the middle of the night. So that can be addressed through some of those adaptogenic herbs that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, I think in summary and to finish, I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to understand how they can help themselves, right? I think some of these tenets and some of these practices in naturopathic medicine really are rooted in our own lifestyle and eating organic and trying to sleep well. That is a lot of that the healing nature of our own biology and our spirit. So I don't want to dismiss that. I can be a guide for that and kind of give recommendations based in science and what research has said. But it's really a relationship. Like it's me kind of using my skills to kind of get to the root cause, but also support the person and with their goals. Maybe they want to feel better, but maybe they want to improve their sleep or they want to improve their relationships with people. So it's all taken into consideration in the healing relationship. So I think it's not just me. I think there's that power of relationship and support that can be really transformative for people's health.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Dr. Lawrence, thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. I look forward to
It's a
seeing you
pleasure.
on October 31st. Hopefully, you'll see some of our other Global Peace Tribers. And God bless you and the
Yeah.
wonderful work you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your questions and your energies too. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're going to go into our prayer time. And so I'm going to turn it over to the two Ds. Here is Diara, and we're looking for Desiree. There she is with that beautiful backdrop. Take it away, ladies.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just breathing in all this beautiful information that we've received tonight. Our bodies loving this focus as spiritual beings. We also value our beautiful, beautiful vessels, our vehicles that carry our souls. And we rejoice in the body's functions. We allow for upgrades and optimum health to come through in the material as well as the etheric ways. So feeling all our cells rejoicing with this focus, our bones strong, the marrow clear, neutrons reprogrammed for life. And we feel all our systems celebrating with this awareness, with this focus. And we send out blessings to all those needing and receiving this health, this divine health and wellness, giving great thanks for all the advances in the integrated health fields, knowing that there's so much more to come. And we bless Tara and Dr. Lawrence and bless Scott and all of us here tonight and beyond.
I'd like to bring in a little bit of light language as well. This is bringing our wishes up to the divine. So if you have a wish at this time, just go ahead and say that. The wish of peace on earth. An inner knowing that the love is in our hearts. And we can spread the joy. Thank you for all that you do and say. As we come together as one, from my love from my heart to yours, and all around. Thank you.
Maximum grace, maximum health. Thank you.
Thank you both, ladies. You're both so beautiful. Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to show you what we've got coming up because we've got three really fun shows all planned and decked out, including a Sacred Sunday show. So on Saturday night, Reverend Jeffrey does it again. He is bringing his friends from the farm. Have you all heard of the farm? It's one of the most famous intentional communities. It started way back in the 70s. Two of the original founders, Douglas and Deborah, are going to be with us, and the current president, James, and a few other friends from the farm. And of course, Omar Shar will be blessing us with music. So that's going to be this Saturday night. And then we've got a Sacred Sunday show. It's been a while since we've done the Sacred Sunday show. It's going to be at 11 a.m. and I will be coming to you live from Reno, Nevada, where I'm attending one of Tangila's Soul Search Enlightenment Expos. And I have a friend who lives in Reno, Satara Faye. She's been on the show once before. And I said, hey, let's do something together. And she said, let's do it. And when we talk about what's something that we haven't done, she shared with me a new word she's been studying, which is called Sisu, the power of gentle kindness. And so that's what we're going to be talking about, the power of gentle kindness. It will be Omashar's last show with us for a few weeks. He's off to England to be with his mom. So please put into your calendars Sunday, October 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I will put that Zoom room link into the chat box in a few minutes. And I'll also send out an email to all of our subscribers. And then finally, just want to let you know that next Wednesday night, we've been doing the show now for 5.5 years. So we have annual things, and we are doing our annual Sacred Samhain show. And I've got some really cool people lined up for it. So definitely make sure you're with us a week from tonight as we prepare for Sacred Samhain, All Hallows Eve, the Day of the Dead. And it's going to be a very special show. So that's what we've got coming up on the Global Peace Tribe. But wait, there's more. Our beloved Omashar has become a central part of humanity's team. And I'm going to turn over to Omashar to share with you about what's happening this weekend and then to lead a closing song.
Yes, indeed. And I said to Scott a couple of weeks ago, I've got over FOMO because there's only one of us here in many individualized forms, right? And so therefore, if I can't be somewhere, I know there's another aspect of my being that's there. However, I saw that Sacred Samhain show and I thought, I want to be there because it looks so fun, and which is very cool. And we'll see how it is. What time do I have to get up? I don't know, 2 a.m. to tune into that one in England. But Humanity's team this weekend, starting on Friday morning, are doing something called Awaken the Divine Within. And it's there's between 80 and 100 presenters across 3 days, and it's free to register and join, and you can cherry pick through what you would like to view, of course leaving room for Saturday night for the Awakening World and Sunday morning. And I'm just going to put in the chat the link there where you can register, and I actually play an opening set at 8 a.m., which is really early for a musician, on Friday the 24th, 8 a.m. Pacific, and then it goes on into amazing presentations from Deepak Chopra and Bruce Lipton and Susan Giesman and Greg Braden and blah, 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 all the top shelf people. However, what I'm excited about is I created a little video for it using a technology called Grok. And what I'm going to do a screen share here. Basically, I took 3 images. You can all see this screen, right?
Yes.
Someone speak to me, please. And so there's this one here, Awaken the Divine Within, and it's amazing on the top left there. I'm feeling quite cool about that. And then this one here, another static images, 3 static images, and then this one here, another static image. And what I did was I created a 1 minute reel for it, which I'm going to show you now. But I use Grok, and I want you to look very closely at these 3 static images as I play it, because Grok has done something amazing with it. So I'm going to get out of this one and, oh, hang on a minute. Here we are. And so are you sitting comfortably?
We are.
Then I shall begin. So check this out. Big hands now.
World of ours, we're here to thrive together, making sure that nobody gets left behind.
It's all from static images.
As the light of truth clears all the stormy weather, and the mother in us all begins to rise. Through our hearts and hearts we start to know our greatness. As our strength returns, our spirit guides us through. Our eyes
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
As a trip. I was using something called Leonardo AI, and it wasn't giving me what I wanted. And my brother showed me what this AI image generator called Grok, Grok, can do, and that was its free version. And so I went through it and I said, okay, this one, I want everyone to hug each other and everyone want to shake hands. And the other one was, I want everyone now to bow. Like you got, Deepak and Greg Braden bowing, which is amazing because it all fit, we're all in service to each other. So as you can see, I'm excited about that one. And I think, Scott, we're going to close out the show now, correct?
I think so. That's right.
With a little song, a little ditty.
A little ditty.
A little the ditty, a little ditty, and I'm gonna have some fish and chips, and I'm really excited about that in England. And I'm gonna sing a song that I know. This is the original version. It's called "Out of the Blue," and what it is a song that's I have a disco version, which I normally play because it's kind of up tempo and all that. However, this is the original version, and it's just played with a basic beat. And it talks about our ancestors and are they just in the past or are they reaching their hands back out of the blue into our lives now to guide us, which of course we know they are. And so here we go. I'm going to change.
Yes.
Whatever happened to the ones that came before? Did they just vanish into the blue? Maybe they're living the dream we know to be true, and reaching their hands back out of the blue. Heart is so ready to embrace all that's new. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true. There's nothing here to hold me back from you. The clouds of my life have blown away. My lightness of being lifts me every day. I find myself feeling not so blue. My heart is so ready to embrace all that's new. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true. life that feels so true.
Oh, such a beautiful song. Such a beautiful night. Thank you.
Right? Isn't it? I just love that. I just thought, how about if I take all the backing out of it? And how's the song revealed? And I love it. Yeah.
I'm trying to I have a little trouble here. It's my
What you need me to do, brother? And thank you, Lawrence. Dude, you rock. I so appreciate your presence here with us tonight. And yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden my clicker's not working. So just
Not your clicker.
if you could maybe take us to gallery view so we can see.
Oh, I've got you that one. I got you view.
Here we are. If you get me, you get Jasmine Bear as well.
Yeah, as a co-host, I can't do the the gallery view thing. So you have most of the power. I have a little bit.
You know what? It's my clicker's not working. So, all right. Well, I will just say good night, everybody. Thank you, Desiree. You were looking especially shiny tonight. I want to acknowledge extra smiles and shine and gleam. Yes.
Thank you. I have been practicing on stepping in the love frequency and expanding it out. So thank you for noticing that.
It definitely showed in a big way. Thank you again, Dr. Lawrence.
Thank you for having me.
Hope to see you all on Saturday and on Sunday, both nights. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And I can't end it. I literally, my clicker's
All
not.
right, I've got it. I love you guys. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Dr. Lawrence.
We're going to be here for all night. I don't know if my mouse ended or what, but for some reason I'm not able to get anything to work. So we're going to be together until Saturday's show. I hope you got some food and I'm charging my mouse, so we'll see if that does the trick. People may leave if they need to, or we'll stay with Jasmine Bear. And hopefully I'll be able to close this out. All right, let's see if I charged it enough now. We had this happen before. It's not working. Yeah, I can't get anything to click. Try again. Mouse on. Mouse is just not working. Well, all right. Let's see.